This is Miss Lizzie, and I want to welcome you to the Queen Lizzie podcast. Together, we will go through the history of Rosewood, Florida, and watch as the once prosperous town rises out of the bloodshed, fire, and ash to reveal the people, the memory, and the legacy of Rosewood. Watch every Thursday on Facebook and YouTube, or listen to our story on Apple or Google Podcasts, Spotify, iHeartRadio, or wherever you find your favorite podcasts. Hello, everybody. I am Lizzie Robinson Jenkins, representing not only the Rosewood Foundation, but the personal testimonies and history of cherished friends and family. You are now watching the Queen Lizzie podcast. Today, we're talking with Michael Joyce. Hello, Michael. How are you?
I'm well, Lizzie. How are you?
I am fine. and I'm glad to see you again. And we met a few years ago, back in 2017, I believe?
2019.
2019.
Yes, ma'am.
And you had read, I'll let you tell us how we met and what piqued your interest in Rosewood.
Okay. Well, it was the winter of 2019. My wife, Amy, and I were looking for movies to watch. We lived in Citrus County at the time, Inverness, and we stumbled upon a movie called Rosewood. Okay. And I wasn't really sure what it was about, so we watched it, and I was pretty taken back by what happened, and I started to do more research. Yes. And realized it was only an hour away from where I was living.
Yes.
So we got in the car and drove up and tried to explore Rosewood, and there wasn't a whole lot left.
Okay.
And ended up going to the Shiloh Cemetery.
Yes.
Where John Wright is buried.
Yes.
And I was appalled that that man had a countertop for a headstone.
Exactly. And you reached out to me.
Yes,
after
ma'am.
your research. You reached out and you located me.
Yes, ma'am.
And what happened? Oh, and then
we approached the Shiloh Cemetery board, and they agreed to let us put a headstone in, but we had to get the blessing of his next of kin.
Exactly.
And you happened to know who his, I believe it was niece.
Yes.
And she was already in her 90s.
Yes.
And we found her, and we got permission, and we started to raise money.
Exactly. And before then, the first person I talked to related to John Wright was when I first started speaking in 1982-ish. Okay. I was speaking, and what has always been very, very helpful for me, locating other people, I always tell the Rosewood story, as ugly as it was, I always tell it positively. So this particular night, I was at the Civic Media Center, and I had been there a couple of times, and I was talking about John Wright and how he helped and sheltered the Rosewood survivors, including my aunt, who was a school teacher there. And when I finished speaking, a young lady raised her hand and said, "Mrs. Jenkins?" I said, "Yes." She said, "John Wright," and y'all, that's the store merchant, "was my great uncle." I said, "What?" And I said to her, "Don't leave before you talk to me tonight." And the rest is history. And we are still friends today. So when you were looking for the next of kin to John Wright, that is why I was able to give you his niece's information, because his niece is the granddaughter of the lady you talked to, and I don't want to call her name.
Okay.
Yeah, so that's how we got from point A to point B, and you saw the headstone. You were not pleased with it.
No.
And we raised money. You want to tell us how we raised the money?
We raised it through a GoFundMe page. At the time, I owned a bar in Inverness.
Yes.
So I utilized a lot of my friends and customers to raise the money. It was around $2,000 we had to raise for the headstone, and we
Yes.
did it rather quickly.
Yes, we did very quickly because you reached out to me and I said, go for it.
Yeah, I had the blessing of the Real Rosewood Foundation. Then we had the blessing of the family,
Yes.
and they wanted to keep out of it. They wanted to keep anonymous.
Yes.
So I've always done that for them, so we don't mention their names. But
Exactly.
we had to get it notarized and make sure it was all legal ahead of time, and thankfully the cemetery board for Shiloh was on board with us also, and they gave us their blessing.
Exactly.
So it all worked out pretty quickly. Within a year,
Yes.
he had a headstone.
Yes, and it's still there, and it's nice. And like I said, I was there with you the entire time, telephone. Okay, we talked about it, and I was there when the what do they call the
All the monument people
yes,
installed it.
yes,
Yes.
when they came down and installed. Is that what they did? Install?
Yeah, they
Oh,
dug up the old one and they put the
yes,
new one in with the base and all of that
yes,
stuff, where it would be stable, where
yes.
it wouldn't fall over.
Exactly. And I really enjoyed myself because I remember on my knees, you were too. We were rolling, digging with our hands and
Hmm.
pushing up dirt,
You even
to
sang
make.
your song too.
I sang my
Yeah,
song,
you
and
did.
that is recorded. So
Yes,
it is known that that job, that project is your project.
it's our project.
Well, our project. I do. It is our project because I did a little, but I was so appreciative of you. And outside, I never seen or heard of Rosewood until recently. And then you got so involved. And that makes me feel really good.
Oh yeah,
Proud of you and your wife, as we said, did the recording. And you just reminded me that I sang my song.
yeah.
But it was all about history.
It was, and not only about John Wright, it was about his wife. Also, we
Yes.
put the hero stone because she already had a beautiful headstone
Yes.
that her husband had bought for her before after she died. But we put a
Yes.
marker for we could also recognize her because, as history tells us, she had a big role in
Yes.
this too, and actually may have been the driving force why John did what he did.
Exactly. And three children that died before uh, 19. Oh, I'm sorry. They died in the late 1800s.
Yes,
None of the three ever lived to be 5 years of age, I don't think. And as the movie, one mistake, misinformed information that was in the movie said that his boys helped him, when the KKK invaded Rosewood. But all three of his children died, okay,
yes, before Rosewood.
before Rosewood. And we need to, and that's why we need to set the record straight and let people know the real truth behind the real history of Rosewood. And that's why we call it the Real Rosewood Foundation, because
Yes, ma'am.
we make it real. And as I said, very appreciative. And John Wright's niece, I had an event March 9th of this year. And as I continue to work on Rosewood, now these people don't know each other that I'm about to talk about. The ones that lived in Trent, Trent, Trenton, Florida, they don't have any knowledge of Mary Wright's great nieces, okay, grandnieces. And a couple of 3 years ago, I got a call from New York. Mrs. Jenkins, she gave me her name, and I'm not going to repeat it. She said, I am the niece of Mary Hull. I never knew that Mary's name was Hull. Mary Jane Hull
Okay.
Wright.
Yeah.
And I have been following you, keeping up with your story. I just wanted to talk to you and let you know that Mary Wright is my aunt. Really? And we talked, and she said, and she told me so much. I said, wow, would you like to write a chapter for our book? She said, of course. Not only did she do a chapter for the book, she also sent me the family tree, John and Mary Wright's family tree, and a photo of both John and Mary Wright.
Oh wow.
Yeah, that's what I say. Wow.
And we
Boy.
were looking for a photo for a long time. Yeah, we
Exactly.
thought maybe this could be them, but we weren't sure.
Right, right, right. Well, I have that and it's ready for my book. Okay. As soon as I'm ready for the book. The photos are ready for me, but I'm not quite ready to release my book. I want to get everything. And you probably don't know, but as we speak, we are closing the permits. What are we closing? We are closing the final stages of the museum
On your property?
on my property.
Oh, beautiful, beautiful.
Yes. However, we're going to have to raise the money to build the museum, but I don't think that's going to be a problem because we have plans to show them, and once we show the plans and do the advertising, I feel like the rest is going to be history.
I think so. I think that people will get behind it
Yes.
for sure.
Yes.
For
yes,
sure.
Yes. And if you all want to donate today to the museum, go to rosewoodflorida.com, spell Florida, Florida, rosewoodflorida.com, and donate. Donate to the museum because it is on its way. And we need all of the help that we can get.
Yeah, it's time to preserve the history.
It is. It is. And I'm looking forward.
Now, you have the headstone, right? The original headstone that we took out of the ground? The old
Yes, I
countertop?
have.
Yeah.
Yes, I have that. And I think what I'm going to do is display it on the property where the museum is going. But I do have that headstone. Yes,
yeah,
I
the
do.
mailbox lettering.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was someone. Their heart was in the right place, and they did what they could do.
Exactly.
But it was time for a more lasting, more fitting headstone for John.
And thanks to you and your group. Okay, that was awesome. Okay.
A lot of people in Citrus County really came forward for that.
Yes, they did.
And
Yes, they did. Quickly, as you said. And we appreciate it. And I'm glad you were able to. Where do you live now?
I live back in Maine, where I'm from.
Okay.
Yeah.
And you made this trip especially here.
You invited me, and I said sure. And I flew down. I wasn't want to go on the internet and do it from yeah.
Right, right. And the timing is so perfect because tomorrow, I understand, and I have been invited, that Marvin Dunn is going to be in Rosewood, and his first stop is going to be at the cemetery. Definitely, I will be there to hear what he has to say and correct him if he is not right. And I hope, since you're already here in Florida, I wish you would be there to hear so that we can hear what he has to say. The one thing I dislike about what goes on and what is being shared or processed about Rosewood history, the lies, I don't like that. I don't appreciate it because these victims, survivors, suffered the agony of defeat. And for anyone to misinform people or shatter their lives all over again, not welcome.
Yeah, I hear that. Yeah, it's important.
And if you don't know me, I will let them know. No, we don't go
Well,
there.
I know you well enough.
Okay.
I know you won't let you won't sit quietly.
That's right. Because they deserve the truth, at least.
Yes.
Yes. Okay. It's about time for the first half. We are going to head to a quick break, and we'll be right back after a word from our sponsors.
Meldon Law has been serving personal injury victims since 1971. In those days, Jeffrey Meldon's presence as an attorney in the music scene dubbed him with the nickname the Hippie Attorney. And although times have changed, two things haven't: our commitment to bettering our community by helping the injured,
Albert, are you ready to go to the game?
and our love for the Florida Gators.
If you bleed orange and blue, Meldon Law is the firm for you.
I am Black History.
I am Rosewood Black History.
I am Florida
and America's Black History, and you are too.
January 1st, 1923, the KKK insurrectionists attacked Rosewood, killing 5, burning it down.
Because a white woman lied and cried, a black man assaulted me. Rosewood redevelopment is on its way.
Want to help? Visit rosewoodflorida.com.
Welcome back to Queen Lizzie Podcast, brought to you weekly from the Steve Spurrier Podcast Room at Spurrier's Gridiron Grill. We are here with Michael Joyce. The Queen Lizzie Podcast is brought to you by Campus USA Credit Union, live from the Meldon Law Gator Studios at Spurrier's Gridiron Grill. And we are back. And I have with me today a friend I met in 2019.
Yes, ma'am.
From, you were living then in
Inverness.
Inverness. And I had the opportunity to speak at the, what's the name of the
Valerie
theater?
Theater.
Valerie Theater. And the turnout was awesome. And I was able to meet you. Well, didn't I meet you there?
We met before.
We met before.
Yeah.
But anyway, you were a part of the audience on this particular night.
Yes.
Right.
Yeah. No.
Okay.
I brought you to the city-owned theater, and it was a sellout. And
Yes.
we had as many people outside wanting to get in,
Yes.
and we could not. We were full.
Yes, you managed. You made that happen. Okay, gotcha.
Yeah. Yeah.
Age.
My age?
No, my age.
Oh,
That's
you're
why I
right.
had forgotten. Yes, you made it happen at the Valerie Theater.
Yes.
Yes, it did sell. It was a sellout, and people were very interested in knowing what happened.
Very interested.
And I was supposed to return in a couple of weeks, but that's when COVID hit.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes.
Yeah, things kind of went bad for a while there.
It did, and I have not reached out to them, but we were well received, thanks to you, Michael Joyce, for making it happen. And as we speak, all of this is coming back to me. I'm remembering, yes, but like I said, thank you. As a result of that, there were churches that have reached out to me from that area, Dunallen, okay, and I have spoken in Dunallen, the villages.
Okay.
The villages.
The
yes.
villages, yeah.
Yeah. And things are moving, and I get so many requests all the time, more than I can say no to, because I want people to know the history.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so I do whatever I need to do. And I was about to say something else that I don't remember right now, but anyway, your wife, and I've talked just briefly about her, but Amy was very, very, very supportive of
She
you.
was.
Yeah, and I appreciate that.
It was very emotional for us doing that and putting the headstone down. We felt like the Wrights were part of our family.
Yes.
I have a connection with them that I can't explain, but it feels like they're just part of my family now.
Exactly. And as you said, you were told when you met them that John was adopted.
Yes.
Yes. And I said to you, yes, because John was listed on the 19, and I'm thinking I'm wrong, on the 1870 census, on the same census that my great-great-grandfather was listed. It was two families, the McIntyres, and under that, it was the Walkers. My great-great-grandfather, Henry McIntyre, lived on Lot 201. Harriet Walker, white girl, related to Sheriff Bob Walker, lived on Lot 202. I don't know what that meant, other than they owned lots next to each other. And she was a single mother. She had 5 children. But we learned that John was adopted, so therefore the 5th kid on that list at that time was 5 years old, and his name was John Wright. No, only John. They had John, not Wright, just John. Okay, and I thought that was amazing. As I do research, it is so interesting when I can wind back the time and connect. And I do that quite well. I've been doing it long enough, and I said, wow, now I know. Now I know. It's a challenge, but I enjoy it.
Yeah.
Yes, it is.
And when you speak, it's powerful.
That's what people tell me, but it's painful. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is painful. I don't have a choice. My mom said, you must tell my sister's story. You got to keep it alive. People need to know, but never, and I like the way she trained me to present, never attack anyone. Okay? And I don't. Do I want to at sometimes? Sure, I get angry because I'm not angry at what happened. I'm just angry because she gave me this assignment that I didn't want to do. I said, Mama, I would not have a life. If I was younger, I would do it. She would often tell me. So, for her, for you, for people like you, interested people like you, and Zach, okay, I do this. And other people. And I want you to know, too, that the people support me. Steve Spurrier, very, very, very supportive. You know that because we're in his podcast room here at the University of Florida, Gainesville, Florida, at the Spurrier Gridiron Grill. Freddie Weeby is partner or good friend, okay, and Meldon Law. Those three people support the Real Rosewood Foundation, and mainly because I tell the truth and I don't attack, and I keep an open line of communication for them. So they are very, very, very supportive. And as we speak, Freddie is planning my 86th birthday party,
Oh wow.
which is October 23rd here at the, where are we? Spurrier.
It'll be up at Advisor's Rooftop.
See, I have help. Advisor Rooftop. Okay, right?
Right. Yeah.
Right. Okay, on October 23rd, which is not my birthday, but that's okay. And you all are invited. We are working on a flyer as we speak. So you are invited. It's a fundraiser. So we are expecting you to pay. Okay, and I'm not going to tell you the surprise that you will get, but we are expecting you to pay because we got to build this museum out in Archer. And the name of the museum is the Mahalda Gussie Brown Carrier Cultural Museum. And what is so amazing about where we are going to locate this particular museum is on the property that she was born on. My mom and my grandfather. We bought that property, when I say we, like in grandparents, in 1897. We were told, don't sell my property because they're not making anymore. Everything happens for a reason. And this is going to be awesome, just bringing history back to Archer, where she was born. Mm-hmm. And many people think she is from Rosewood. She's not. She's Alachua County. Okay? When I say she, my aunt, who was a teacher there. So, would you like to add anything? You have any questions?
No, when I first met you, I was just shocked when I called and I got you. And I wasn't expecting that. It's just, you're very personable and you talked to me for forever, it felt like. And I think that's who you are. It's, someone's calling you up and they want to talk to you. You take the time and talk with them and see what you can do or how they can help. You can help each other. And, I thank you because without you, I couldn't have done what we did. And I thought it was important enough to pursue that, because John lost everything.
He did.
And he didn't have to do anything. They could have walked away and because their house wasn't even destroyed. It was the only house left, right?
Yes.
So they could have just, locked their doors and said, you know what, leave us alone, and they would have been fine. But they chose to stand up along with some other people too, in neighboring communities, and they made a difference.
Exactly.
There's people walking this earth right now that would not be here if it wasn't for the actions.
Exactly, because Cedar Key, and that's where they were brought in through Cedar Key, which is a peninsula, the Gulf of Mexico. And, excuse me, one way in and one way out. And had he not, and his unsung heroes from Cedar Key worked, my mom said 96 hours straight, they would not have survived and they would not be here. So he is my hero. He and the sheriff and the unsung heroes,
The Bryce brothers, right?
the Bryce brothers
Yeah.
from Bryceville,
Mhm.
which is in Nassau County, Florida, would not have survived. And I am so appreciative. And that's why I keep telling this story, because I want everybody to know that there are good people out there. Okay, there are humanitarians out there, good Samaritans. Everybody is not who we sometimes say they are. You
True.
got to get to know people.
Mhm.
And I know that's why I am so not successful. Well, my show is going to be one day, right?
I hope so.
I work hard to tell the truth and to reach people and let them understand who we are and what we are about. We're about keeping history alive. My mom said, and I often refer to my mother because she was my guiding light. She was the wind beneath my wing. She was my everything. Okay, and I am trying to make her happy. And I know she's smiling today. But thanks, Mom. Although I was angry with you, and sometimes oh, by the way, Mom, I dreamed about you last night. I have not dreamed about you in months. I dreamed about you last night. Don't know why. But you were here with me. Okay, at the house anyway. But life goes on, and I try to live up to your expectation. Not easy.
I think you have.
I think so. And as I said, I appreciate people like you. I do this from my heart. I'm not out begging for money, but people see the need to donate. And that's important.
It is.
But I am begging for money on my birthday. Not for me. But we do have a link, a QR code that we are putting up, and people can donate there. Okay?
Thank you for having
Is it-
me.
Yes, I was about to give you our time for closing remarks. Would you like to say anything?
Yeah, thank you for having me. I appreciate all the work we got to do together, and I appreciate you continuing to speak about your family history and the Rosewood history. And I think it's very important. And I hopefully people will donate because long after we're all gone, this still needs to be told. It can't be forgotten.
Exactly.
History repeats itself if we don't remember.
And that's why we're telling it for the next generation.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yes, yes.
I love you so much. I really do.
You love me?
Yeah.
I love you too.
Oh, thank you.
And we can shake hands on that. And y'all, I want you all to know he is my friend. He flew in from
Maine.
Maine to be on my show today. That's awesome. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Okay. I am continuously humbled, honored, and blessed to meet people daily and invite them to join in peace building, healing, and reconciliation through learning about the history of Rosewood. That will wrap up today's episode. I am Queen Lizzie. Until next time, this is my Rosewood story, and I'm sticking to it. Goodbye, and thank you.